Thank you for coming out today to join us. We are kicking off the GE Healthcare Reverse Pitch Competition through the N+1 Institute. Thanks to GE, our sponsor, GE Healthcare, our sponsor for this event. Without it, we wouldn't be able to put on these kinds of events for our students here on campus, so many thanks to GE for that. So what is the N+1 Institute? You probably saw it on the signs outside. It's a new institute on campus. It's in the computer sciences department, and it couples industry collaboration with our researchers and our students here on campus in order to help advance the state-of-the-art in computing, fuel innovation on campus, and help train the next generation of the tech workforce. Edge computing, artificial intelligence, and web, next generation web are our technology focus areas. That's the primary focus areas for us. And by focusing on those most impactful new technologies, a rich environment of research, application, and problem solving emerges to break through technical barriers, to accelerate new computing system adoption, and develop the talent needed to take us into the future. So that's a little bit about N+1. So the reverse pitch competition. So what is a reverse pitch competition? One way for industry to engage with students in a meaningful way through the Institute is with these kinds of events. Traditionally, innovation and entrepreneurship involves pitching an idea of a company to a group of investors in the hopes that someone will resonate with your idea and provide the funding for you to go on and create your company and get it started. This model assumes that the startup founder has a deep awareness of the problem that they're trying to solve and a unique way to create value around that. The reverse pitch flips this concept, and it begins with an investor who has a challenge that they want to solve by using a novel solution. And then they gather together the best and the brightest to put together their ideas on how they would help solve that problem and find new ways to create value and deliver innovation. So that's the concept of the reverse pitch. Today, GE Healthcare will be pitching to you their challenge and looking for new ideas to deliver healthcare without boundaries. So what is the format of this competition? So we will have you form teams of 3. Every team has to have 3 team members. Then you will create a proposal for how you would solve to this challenge. After that, we will review the proposals that come in and select a smaller set of finalists who will then come in and pitch to a panel of judges who will review, who will talk about and deliberate the results and come up with the winners and the runners-up and those kinds of things. So that's the format. It all happens over a series of about 5 weeks. So it goes pretty quickly. You'll have 1 week to form teams. You'll have 2 weeks to come up with a proposal, and then give us a week to review those. And then 2 weeks for the finalists to create their final presentation for the judges. So what is at stake? So we have awards. So your time is valuable, and we expect that you'll put a great deal of effort into this. And so we wanted to make the rewards worth the effort. And so for the winning team, they will each be awarded with a $1,000 scholarship. So that's pretty fantastic. There are a number of other excellent prizes for the finalist teams that GE Healthcare is stepping up and bringing to the table for the ones who make it to the final. So that is what you are able to compete for. And again, I said without GE Healthcare, we wouldn't be able to put on these events. They've brought together for us today an excellent team that's here to support you with this amazing event. So now I want to introduce Neil Sandy, who's the general manager of GE Healthcare, located in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and have him introduce his team. Neil?
Great. Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. I am the General Manager of Monitoring Solutions, which is a division of GE Healthcare. It's about $1.3 billion, and so I have global responsibility for that division. We have a few of the team here with me. And, you know, programs like N+1 are very important to our business. Exposure to talent here coming out of the UW, exposure to new ideas. You know, we spend a lot of time thinking about the problems that our customer has and how we might solve them, but it would be pretty short-sighted to think that we have all the solutions at GE Healthcare, and that's where you come in this reverse pitch competition. So we're looking forward to seeing some great participation there. With me today, well, maybe I'll start with myself, and then I'll introduce the rest of the team. So 32 years in medical devices, IT, pharma, a bit of venture work, some startup work, 19 years at GE Healthcare, 26 in acute care, which is the area we're going to focus on as part of this competition. I came up through product management, so I may be the only person in the room that's not an engineer. Okay, a couple of us, okay. Came up through product management in the anesthesia space, actually, which is local here in Madison. So I actually live in Middleton, just up the road, and have been living here a long time. I spent some time in multiple marketing roles and strategic roles, also a stint at General Electric Ventures. That was the venture capital arm of GE Ventures, so I have some experience evaluating proposals and investing in them. I was Chief Marketing and Commercial Officer of a large part of the business, and then took over this role in monitoring just over 5 years ago, just in time for COVID to happen. And so that was a lot of fun getting monitors out to the world when they needed it most. So with me today is my colleague and Chief Engineer of Monitoring, Matt Grubus, right here. I should mention everyone here is an alum of UW, including me. I was MBA in 96, and you were? 97. 97, okay. It's on the page. Matt has 27 years of engineering experience and really is a foundational participant in what monitoring is doing, really the architect of where we're headed, and he'll cover that in his comments in just a minute. Yeah, you're recently a pilot. I remember you telling me that, and I think your dad's a pilot as well. So a couple of sons, and one of them here, or two of them here, actually. So that's Matt. Also here is Sal. Sal's been with us for 3 years' time, but actually a little more than that because he came up through some of the programs that we have, including internships and programs like that. Four rotations in the Edison program. Edison program is for engineers that are exceptional young talent, and we rotate them through the business. And of course, in monitoring, we try to keep them there. And so Sal is working on cybersecurity now, learning that, and really a foundational element of our go-forward monitoring product development strategy. And then Sarah here, one of our newest engineers and graduate of the U here, I guess last spring. So bringing Sarah in, has spent some time overseas. We're a global company, so that's important to have some perspective there. And you know, she was actually part of the N+1 engagement at its inception, and it really is representative of what we're trying to do here, is meet talented engineering students, hire them if we have a slot, and turn them into monitoring engineers that can help us solve real problems out there in the world. And then Brianna is not in the room, but she actually is on my computer screen. She's in Helsinki today, and Brianna is visiting Helsinki because we have some 240-ish engineers in Helsinki, Finland, and they're working on things like the miniaturization of wearable technology for patient monitoring, core software for our monitors and the like. So Brianna's been a college athlete. She's came in as an intern, joined us in July of 23, did this rotational program, and is now working on systems engineering and actually delving into product management as well. So that's the team. And if I think I'm stuck. There we go. Now I wanted to tell you a little bit about GE Healthcare before we get into the actual competition and a little more on monitoring. So GE Healthcare in 23, $19.6 billion. It's a little north of that now. Our latest earnings was last week. We're serving over 1 billion patients annually, and if you've ever had a loved one in the hospital, our monitoring equipment is essentially in a third of the hospitals anywhere in the world. And that's pretty rewarding if you're an employee of our company. We know we have a mission to help clinicians help patients, and we're certainly affecting a lot of them. We have 18,000 colleagues that are you characterize as customer-facing, so salespeople, customer service people, field engineers. We have more than 5 million devices in the installed base. That means a customer is using our equipment, and in the business that we are part of, this group is part of, we represent nearly 2 million of that 5 million. We're spending as a company more than $1 billion in R&D, and that number's rising since we went public as an entity spun out of GE 2 years ago. And you might not appreciate this, but we have the most AI-enabled device authorizations, that's from the FDA, of any company in the world. A lot of that happens in the imaging part of our business, but we are kind of setting the table for similar kinds of growth in AI inside of monitoring and our sister subsegments within patient care solutions. I'll get into that in a second. So I mentioned we're a global company. I've been fortunate to travel a fair amount over my career. You can see the R&D presence in orange, the manufacturing sites in purple, and the customer service or sales sites in green. And we also have distributors that sell our product in more than 160 countries. We have 51,000 employees and a sales force of 10,000, as I said, field service engineers of 8,000. And we're manufacturing product all over the world. For monitoring, we have R&D sites in Waukesha, Wisconsin, Helsinki, Finland, Wuxi, China, and Bangalore, India. If you look at GE Healthcare from a public entity perspective, there are 4 segments of GE Healthcare. Imaging, so that's like MR, CT scanners, PET CT. Advanced visualization, this is a lot of our ultrasound equipment. Patient care solutions, that's where this team works. So patient care solutions includes monitoring, which is the business I run, but it also includes anesthesia. That's the local business here in Madison. It includes diagnostic cardiology, and it includes a maternal and infant care business, which is associated with incubators, like in the NICU for premature babies, and warmers and maternal fetal monitors. And then we have a pharmaceutical diagnostic business, which creates and manufactures and distributes pharmaceutical agents that are used in tandem with imaging, so imaging tracers, if you will. And they're working on some really cool stuff, not just in traditional imaging, but also in Alzheimer's and oncology. Our vision in GE Healthcare is to create a world where healthcare has no limits, and really this was set forth 2 years ago when we spun out of the business and of GE, and it's a vision that all of the employees of the company can get behind, and it really sets no boundary as to what we can do to help patients and help clinicians deliver care. In terms of global healthcare trends, and this may become important as you think about whatever project you might want to work on with us after we tell you about the reverse pitch. There's a lot going on out there that's challenging, and COVID sort of shined a light on it. You might have heard of nursing shortages that are out there, an aging population, a lot of clinician burnout, so how can we be more efficient in how care is delivered? How can we be even more virtual? Alternative sites of care, not everything's happening in the hospital. There's hospital transitioning to home. And then there's this massive demand in yellow for insights and productivity. Hospitals make, if they're for profit, they actually make very little money. Hospitals, they're just trying to survive all over the country and really all over the world. And so anything you can do to help them with productivity, reducing their costs while they're caring for patients is very interesting for them, and of course solves a big problem for them. But in addition to that, the demand for clinical insight is also there, delivering clinical insights to care teams when and where they need it, not always bedside, not always next to the patient, an increasing trend in the industry. So I'm going to turn it over to Matt next to talk specifically about the business that we are in, Monitoring Solutions. And again, your participation here is very welcome. We know a lot about these issues and a lot about the trends, but we don't have all of the ideas on how to solve them, and we welcome your ideas going forward. Matt?
Thanks. Thanks, Neil. Again, my name is Matt Grubus. I'm the chief engineer of our patient monitoring business. If you're a software engineer and you like big data, we got a great spot for you. If you like algorithms and analytics and AI, we have that problem also. When you start thinking about full stack, containerized systems, Kubernetes, communication systems, firmware, OS, cybersecurity, these are all problems that we solve, and our engineers solve and work with on a daily basis. But what's really important about our business is what we do is we're monitoring a patient's life 24/7. I'm sure a lot of you have not been in hospitals, and what you will find in a hospital, you might find a patient that just had surgery, or a child that had their tonsils out, or somebody that hurt their arm and had to get it set, or a small surgery on it. And then there's people that are older that have cardiac issues, or they have other problems with other organs of their body. And that sometimes being in the hospital can be very traumatic. And they go through this long process of diagnosis, care plan, sometimes surgery, and recovery. What we do with our software engineers is very purposeful. We're monitoring that patient. You can see the devices that are on and around those patients, and we're watching that patient with our devices 24/7. Our software is collecting information about the vital signs of the patient real time. We're communicating that to a large database. We're analyzing that, looking to see how we can inform the nurses and the doctors on how that patient is doing and how their progress is going forward. So it's a very important mission that we have. You can write software for a lot of different companies, but when we write software, it's going to end up on patients, millions of patients every day around the world. So I hope you really can feel some of the connection to this, because when you apply your talents, I think this is one of the cases where, as an engineer, you want to make sure that what you're doing is tied to something that's important to you. And we're fortunate enough to have a business that is like that. As Neil said, there are a number of issues that we have to work through. We need to connect patients to caregivers across the world. And what's also fun about our problem statement, our problem that we're working on, is that I'm sure a lot of you have heard of IoT, the Internet of Things. We see that type of technology, that philosophy of putting devices on patients that are small, wireless, and wearable. They're constantly acquiring vital signs, how your heart's doing, how you're breathing, the oxygenation that's in your blood, the pressures that are inside your body. All that data is collected off the patient and then communicated to an infrastructure. So just like IoT, you might have a smart thermostat, you might have a smart light bulb, you might have a smart motion sensor. Our sensors are like that in a smart home, except we're sensing what's going on with a patient. We're collecting all that data, bringing it together, so that we can analyze it, understand it, gain insight, really understand how that patient's doing, and then provide that visualization to a clinician. And this is what we're trying to accomplish when we talk about connecting caregivers and patients in an ecosystem that enhances patient care. I know it's a lengthy way to say it, that vision, but what we do is really connecting patients to caregivers and make sure they're safe and they're on the right care plan. And that's where we need your help. So it said it stopped recording. I don't know if that's important.
Not really.
Okay. Okay. We'll keep going then. All right. So just like a lot of things in the world, there have been some big changes over time in technology. We used to watch TV on a big old TV set, and sometimes when we got really fancy, we went to the store and got a VHS tape or a DVD and brought that home and watched it, and then drove it back to the store when we were done with it. I remember that. You guys don't remember that. And then one day, the connectivity came, and high-speed internet to your house, and streaming services are providing movies on demand. Because we have this connected ecosystem and this technology that's around us that enables us to watch any media anytime on these wonderful things on our phones that are connected always to the internet. The same kind of thing is happening in patient monitoring. It went from the device that was next to the bed to the devices. We said, well, why don't we connect them up and we can get some information off of them. But really the future is to create this ecosystem, an ecosystem of devices that are well connected, gathering all that data, and bringing patient monitoring into the future. Does this make sense? Yeah. It's a big effort that we have going on. We're spending a lot of money trying to solve this problem for the world. And it has these components. We've been working on the wearables. We've been working on the wireless devices so the patient doesn't feel like that they're wired to the bed. They can get up, walk around the room, go to have a treatment and come back, be able to visit their family in a sitting area. Super important. Second thing is that we are focused on full stack and edge computing. How do we bring that smarts and intelligence and high availability to the hospital? Well, we need to have an ecosystem, computing layers that support that with Kubernetes and containers and a great security solution with immutable operating systems. We're on the cutting edge of a lot of that, what's happening right now. And then finally, you have all that data, it's all well connected, it's providing those insights. So it's really exciting. While Neil said that we have thousands of engineers, all the engineers are not all working on the same problem. We have all these areas of technology that we're focused on, and so there's small teams that are bringing these technologies to our customers around the world. Again, real big global impact. So what we want from you, the pitch that we need to solve the problem that we need to solve is, and I'm going to read this out loud because I know this is getting recorded, hopefully. All right, it's a big problem, but there's big money at the end too. Despite tremendous advancements in technology, many regions of the world still lack access to advanced medical facilities and skilled physicians. With the rise of the Internet of Things and global connectivity, it offers a promising solution by enabling remote collection, access, and management of clinical data. Think of the villages that are in areas of the world that don't have a hospital. Think of the regions that are hard for even the patients to reach somewhere where they can get treatment. What if we could bring the devices to them? What if we could connect using technologies like cellular and satellite communications and bring that to the patients that we can't access today to bring them health care? And however, to realize this vision, practical challenges are there with security, the connection reliability, equipment deployment, ease of use, and overall cost must be addressed. So while you can say, sure, we'll just get the latest satellite dish and all this expensive equipment, you have to get it to these places of the world. You have to get it there and have it easily set up. You have to make sure that it's reliable. You have to make sure that the data is still secure. You can't forego security. So how can we put this all together in a solution that we can reach these parts of the world and have them connected and make them part of this IoT fabric for healthcare? So while providing care to underserved regions and people, there's a vast volume of clinical data that presents an incredible opportunity for additional research to improve healthcare for all. This is the big data problem. So while we can reach many more patients that we hope to, bringing all that data together just enables a plethora of research. We can start to really understand how diseases progress and different symptoms result in different successful care. This is really also an opportunity when we start solving these problems across the globe. So, your challenge, and I hope you accept it. There are a couple of different areas that you can focus on around the innovative technical solution. The other area is, doctors, now that they're connected and the data is available, how could we provide almost a crowdsourcing environment to help manage all this patient data that's coming in and analyzed? And now I hope we have some great algorithms, but you still need a physician there to manage care. And sometimes it won't be the same physician, so you have to think about how are we going to hand off the data from one doctor or physician to another and create that type of environment. And again, there's concerns when it comes to security and the data storage and access. So you have to think about that. And that's really around the second number 2 up there, which should be number 3, is around how we store that data and maybe de-identify it and make it available for research for institutions like the University of Wisconsin so that we can start to develop algorithms and AI and provide new insights and solutions based off the data we collect off of patients 24/7. In a patient in a hospital, in an ICU, there's about 1.5 gigabytes of data per day that we collect. Over a hospital, it could be 1 terabyte a day. 1 terabyte a day across all the patients. There is a lot of data that's available to be mined and understood and make some really great medical advancements, and that's also our hope. So I'm going to hand it back over to Dave, and I also encourage you, after we have our presentation here, we have Sarah and Sal. They're young engineers who have joined us and are working on this problem day in and day out. Feel free to talk to them too and understand kind of their path that brought them to GE Healthcare. As Neil said, we have some really important, prestigious leadership programs where we take engineers that meet the kind of top of the class, and we put them through rotation, 8 months, 3 rotations, trying different things in the business, all the while you're becoming a better engineer and exposed across the business. We also are training you in leadership skills and communication skills and how to drive things forward. And finally, we'll even help support you through your getting a master's degree. So it's a great program, and we're also looking for that type of talent. So hopefully you can demonstrate some of that to us with some of the pitches you come up with. All right, thanks.
Fantastic. Thanks, Matt. What a great set of challenges for you to start working on. And they're big and broad, right? And that's why we require you to have teams of 3 in order to get a few different viewpoints to cover a lot of the areas of each of those 3 challenges. So you only have to pick one. Don't try to solve all 3. Just pick one of the challenges and form your team to go after. A very important date is a week from today. That's the deadline for team registration. So at the end, there'll be a QR code. You can click onto our website, and they'll have information there for how to register your teams. 3 people. You'll have to have all the information for each person as you register. So keep that in mind. You've got to form that team within a week. The next important deadline is Tuesday, March 11th, which is the proposal submission day. So if you're real good and you form your team right now, you'll have 3 weeks to complete your proposal. The longer you take to form your team, the less time you'll have to create a proposal to submit. We'll be reviewing those proposals as they come in and scoring them and selecting the finalists who will come in, and we'll notify those finalists on March 19th that they've been selected to compete in the final pitch event, and then you'll have 2 weeks to create a presentation of your proposal, and then your 3 team members will come in and present that to the judges. So those are the deadlines. All of this information is on our website. So that wraps up our kickoff of this reverse pitch competition. We'll be available for questions afterwards. Thanks so much for coming out today. Tell all your friends. And we'll be promoting this across campus as well in the meantime. So hopefully you all feel like you can put together a solution for one of these proposals and submit it to us for review. And again, the prizes are really excellent. Of course, everyone wants $1,000, but there's only the winning team that will win that. Each person will receive that. But there's lots of other great prizes for those who don't actually win the final competition. So welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out.
And David, do you have to be a computer science student to enter this?
No, you don't.
So you could grab your buddy in business school and
right.
And med school?
Right, and we encourage that. Partnering with someone in the medical college might give you, a different perspective on things, help you think about things you may not have thought of. So reach out across campus. Business school students are also a great resource for you to put on your team. And yeah, it's open to all students. So tell your friends. All right, feel free to grab the QR code. That's all we have for you today. Good luck.
Thank you.